Now in this technical demonstration, we're going to start working with sets. Now sets are just groups of resources, and they apply to systems, accounts, databases, domains, cloud providers, as well as secrets, SSH keys, and services. Now again, a set is nothing more than a group or a filter that you can apply. Now, if we look at all of our systems, as you can see here, I have Unix and Windows servers. I also have application servers and database servers. And I have a domain controller. So I can create multiple sets that will filter this list. So let's do that. Sets can be found on the right-hand side of the platform under the specific resource that you're going to create the set for. So in this case, I'm going to create a system set. Now there are a number of pre-built sets for you, but we're going to create custom sets. Now the reason that custom sets are also very important is that you can apply permissions to them. So let's go ahead and create a few sets. We'll start with the ones for the domain controllers. Now I can set up the set as a manual set, or I can set it up dynamically, which would require a SQL query. But for this demonstration, we're going to focus on a manual set, and I'm going to click Members, and I'm going to simply add the domain controller. And now we'll click Save. Let's go ahead and create a couple more. We'll create one for our Windows servers. Now this one I'm going to be a little more specific with because we do have a pre-built set named Windows servers. So we'll call this one GreenSafe Windows servers. And again, we'll keep it manual, and I'll go over to members. Now, with the members, I'm not going to include the domain controller. The domain controller is one of those sensitive or critical servers that I want to tuck away, if you will, or hide, and keep it reserved for the domain administrators or the IT staff. So we're going to go ahead and remove that one from this particular set. So what we'll do is we'll do a search that identifies all of my Windows servers. As you can see here, I have a database server that's a Windows server, an application server, and there's that domain controller. But I'm not going to select this one. I'm only going to select the other two. I'll go ahead and add those. We'll go ahead and save the set, and we'll move on to the next set. Now at this point, all we're doing is we're creating the sets with members. If I look at systems, everything I have available is going to be listed. It's not filtered based on that set yet. So now I'll go ahead and click Add, and now let's focus on our Unix servers. And again, I'll be a little more descriptive. And we'll click Members. And I'll just type in Unix as it's part of the name. And again, I'll go ahead and select those two and click Add. Now, I don't have to be operating system specific when I talk about my particular servers. I can be very specific down to what the role of the server is. So what I'll do here is I'll create one more set, and we'll call this one Database Servers. GreenSafe DB Servers. We'll click Members, and I'll click Add. And because of my naming conventions, they all start with DB. I have a Windows server and a Unix server that are both database servers. So I'm going to select them both, and I'll click Add. So now I have a number of sets. If I scroll down my set list, you'll see all of those sets are available to me. I created them, and they are available. Now if I want to see just my domain controllers, I simply click on the domain controllers, and it filters my list. The same is true for my database servers, my Unix servers, and my Windows servers. And once again, with Windows servers, I have filtered it so that the domain controller is not listed. Now, remember we did apply global permissions. So if this is a power user who's logged in, they also get to see all of these servers. What they don't get to see are those sets. So what we're going to do is we're going to share these sets by applying permissions to them. So what we'll do is we'll start with our domain controllers. So I'm going to right click on domain controllers and I'm going to click modify. And you'll notice that I have two sets of permissions. Permissions and member permissions. Now there is a difference between the two. Permissions identifies those individuals who have access to the set object itself. The member permissions gives you specific permissions to the members of that set. So let's start with permissions. I'm going to go ahead and grant permissions to this set to the IT team. So now I've added the team to be able to see this set. So when they log in, they'll see a set for domain controllers. But they don't have any specific permissions to the systems that are in there. So what we'll do is we'll click on member permissions and I'll click add. And add the IT team once again. Now as you can see here, the permission sets are the same as what we saw in global permissions for systems. Grant, view, manage session, edit, delete, agent auth, offline rescue, add account, update account, unlock account, and request zone role. Now, we don't need to apply all of these permissions to this group. What we do want to do is give them the ability to manage sessions and unlock accounts. And we'll click Save. This gives them that visibility. Let's do this again. Let's go back over to Systems. Now I'm going to go ahead and focus on the sales and finance teams who have access to the database servers. As you can see here, I have one of each. What we'll do is we'll modify this particular set. But I'm not going to grant them permission to see the set, but I am going to grant them permission to the members of it. Now this will become clear when we actually log in as a member of one of those teams. So let's do that now. I'm going to go ahead and create an incognito window so I can log in as another user. And we're going to log in as Kim Rogers, who is a member of the finance team. Now, as you can see here, if I go over to Systems, Kim Rogers does not have any visibility to systems, nor does she have any visibility to accounts. So what we're going to do is we're going to grant that permission. So under DB servers, we're going to go over to permissions, and we're not going to give them access to the set. We're only going to focus on the machines that are in that set. And we're going to click Add. And since the finance team has a role already assigned, and it is going to apply to all the members of that role, I don't have to add the AD groups. I can simply add that particular role. So I'll click Add. Now, as you can see here, they do have the view permission. And this is all they need. They just need to be able to view those systems. They'll use shared privileged accounts, which we'll set up here in a moment, to be able to log into them. But they must be able to see them. So this is the first step. So let's go ahead and click Save. So now the pause user role has view permissions to see just the database servers. So let's test that out. We'll go back over to Kim Rogers. And let's go ahead and give her a quick refresh. And you'll notice there's still no accounts. But if I click on Systems, there are the two database servers. And as you can see, because we did not grant permissions to see the actual set object itself, it's not listed as an available set to use. So let's go ahead and minimize this window, and let's go back over to my administrative controls, and let's go over to accounts. Let's do the same thing that we did before. Let's go ahead and create a new set, and we'll call this one DB accounts. Again, we'll keep it manual. Now we're working with accounts now. We're going to go ahead and click Add. And what I'm going to be looking for is a help desk account. As you can see here, I do have 2 local accounts. I'm going to go ahead and select the help desk account. And we're going to click Add. And now that's a member of the set. Now remember, I haven't brought in any Unix database accounts yet, and that's why they weren't listed. So we'll go ahead and click Save. And now we'll go to our set and modify. And the same thing applies. We're not going to grant permission to see the actual account set. We will grant access to the members of it though. So we'll click Member Permissions, click Add, and we'll add the pause user role. And we're only going to grant them access to log in. So we'll click Login Only. Remember, and there's a note here at the top, they must have view permissions into both the system and the account in order to see the accounts. So we'll click Save, and let's go back over to Kim Rogers, and we'll give her a quick refresh. And now, while she can see the 2 servers, if we click on Accounts, there is now a new account that she has access to, which is the helpdesk-A account for the DB server.